السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما أرسلناك إلا مبشرا ونذيرا. قل ما أسألكم عليه من أجر إلا من شاء أن يتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The divine revelations vouchsafed to Imam Jamaatul Sahih al-Islam, Hazrat Khalifatullah Munir Azim Aidullah Ta'ala bin Aziz of Mauritius on Monday, 4th March 2021, 20 Rajab 1442 Hijrah, around 4:30 p.m. to 4:45 p.m.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها.
Meaning, when the earth is shaken to her utmost convulsion, and the earth throws up her burden from within, and man cries distraught, what is the matter with her? To the ordinary human observer, a violent earthquake is a terrifying phenomenon in its suddenness, in its mysterious origin, and in its power to destroy and uproot the strongest buildings, and to bring up strange materials from the bowels of the earth. The overwhelming event which ushers in the judgment will be a bigger and more far-reaching conversion than any incidents of earthquakes may give us some idea of that supreme world-shaking event. An earthquake, if accompanied by a volcanic eruption, throws up enormous boulders and lava from beneath the crust of the earth. They are thrown up as if they were burdened to the earth personified. They may be all kinds of minerals or treasures buried for secrecy. So, in the great and final convulsion, the dead who had been buried and forgotten will rise. Matters and motives which had been secretly hidden and metaphorically buried will be brought to the light of day, and justice will be done in the full glare of absolutely truth. Man cries with distress. What is the matter with her? The puzzled agony suffered by the victims of a violent earthquake is nothing compared to the experience of the new and wonderful world which will then open out to the gaze of man. It refers to the tremendous convulsion and uprooting which will take place when the present order of the world is dissolved and the new spiritual world of justice and truth takes its place. Hazrat Sahib mentioned this revelation in his Friday sermon of 4 June 2021, 22 Shawwal 1442 Hijrah. Hazrat Sahib said, "If I am not mistaken, at the beginning of the month of March, when I was speaking with one of my disciples, this revelation immediately descended." أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها. When the earth shakes with a violent quake and the earth brings out its burdens and man says, "What is wrong with it?" Do you know, in this century that we live in, a lot of unusual things are happening, like drugs killing people, floods, how many people die and others are left homeless, earthquakes, how many people find death under their own houses, their own buildings, and there are those who are rescued while others, no, they are not withdrawn in time to save their lives. We have also had several viruses, and nowadays an invisible virus is bringing large countries and also small countries to their knees economically and financially speaking, and millions have died with this coronavirus. I can still go on about the other topical matters in this world, and it all feels like Judgment Day. So, save your lives, turn to the one God and pray to Him with sincerity of heart. In Mauritius itself you will witness how a volcano, the Troax serves, which has been dead dormant for several hundred years, will erupt all of a sudden, an eruption that cannot be avoided. And I tell you also that there will be several rivers of blood that will cover the water of the rivers. And I also tell you that the world is at its peak of development. It is too much developed. Now the whole world will be enveloped. That is, will go towards its degradation. So believe me, it is because of you that Allah has sent me to give you this news, to change, reform you, inshallah. May Allah make you realize the truth and stay away from the paths of shaitan. Wash your hearts with the fear of God and turn to Him. It is He alone who can turn a situation around or save you in terms of your faith, where He will forgive you and cause you to acquire faith and admit you into His mercy. May Allah make His deen Islam prevail throughout the world, inshallah. Divine signs in our times, fulfillment of revelations. In the aftermath of the divine revelations and warning by our divinely inspired messenger Ayatullah Ta'ala bin Nazil Aziz, the global media has reported numerous earthquakes, volcano eruptions, and other disasters which are wreaking havoc around the world, Compiled in this video presentation are some of these recent events.
A sense of calm is returning to New Zealand and surrounding islands tonight after terrifying early morning earthquakes sent communities scrambling. The quake struck in darkness, triggering evacuations and tsunami warnings as far away as Norfolk Island and Hawaii.
In the end, the fear was greater than the actual threat. New Zealanders huddled on hilltops, eyes on the coastline, waiting for a tsunami that, when it came, thankfully, been jolted from their beds in the early hours.
Holy f***.
A series of earthquakes triggering the emergency warning system. Thousands of people along the coast sent text messages to the first earthquake hit off New Zealand's northeast coast around 2:30 a.m. local time, followed by two more.
سبحان الله أبو ملرزبو كجروخا
parah, terlihat beberapa monitor hancur.
Alhamdulillah ya Allah.
Civil protection authorities say that the combination of heavy rain and possible aftershocks from the earthquake could bring down the cracked walls and roofs of damaged homes.
A fin passé dans samedi 8h32 il passé kounya nous toutes nous courir nous venir établir nous là là nous faire ça nous venir là nous tellement nos grande difficulté en pile nous là en pile kounya là nous venir pas gain côté pour nous dormir car nous craser non plus d'eau en percé entrer sous nous côté en sel tremblement de passé nous venir là hier nous frapper par un mauvais temps par cyclone nous venir frapper nous pas gain bagaille pour nous couvrir car nous c'est de là nous te prend un monde qui prête nous ça.
The number of injured civilians is close to 10,000. In this, about 500,000 Haitian children have limited or no access to shelter, safe water, healthcare and nutrition. 540,000 children have been affected by the tremors as per the report. Hospitals are equipped with medical supplies to treat about 30,000 victims. The authorities have saved 34 people from the rubble. The schools in Haiti, which were to reopen just weeks from now, were destroyed. The earthquake and constant rain reportedly 94 of the 255 schools are damaged and cannot be repaired in the required time.
The earthquake struck in the middle of the night, thrusting Pakistan's Balochistan province into a living nightmare. The wave of injuries has forced staff at a hospital in Harnai district to treat victims in the parking lot. By sunrise, some of the most serious cases had been transferred. The US Geological Survey says the 5.9 magnitude quake struck at a depth of 9 kilometres, shallow enough to cause massive damage. More than 100 mud houses have collapsed, burying several residents as they slept. A number of other buildings were also heavily damaged, leaving hundreds.
The eruption is going to happen most likely just beyond that ridge.
So since midnight today, it's been 1,200 earthquakes, and in a normal week you might have 100, 200.
Yeah, so it's right over there, the triangular, so we should be able to see when the eruption starts. Many people have woken up.
Well, a volcano in southwest Iceland has erupted, releasing streams of lava from under the Earth's surface. It follows thousands of small earthquakes in the area over recent weeks. The fissure erupted 30 kilometers from the capital, Reykjavik, and is more than 500 meters long. This is the first eruption in the area in centuries. Denai Howard reports.
This is what Icelanders have been waiting for weeks now. 40 kilometers south of the capital, Reykjavik, lava began spewing from the ground on Friday evening, and a no-fly zone has been established in the area. Iceland sits between two tectonic plates, so eruptions aren't uncommon, but this is the first in Fagradalsfjall in 900 years. Normally, there are around 1,000 tremors a year, but there have been more than 50,000 in the last 3 weeks, the highest number since digital recordings began in 1991. In 2010, the eruption of another volcano ejected a column of ash 9 kilometers into the air that brought flights to a halt across Europe. Iceland's meteorological office says the lava from this eruption will emerge more slowly.
The government in the Democratic Republic of Congo has launched an evacuation plan for the eastern city of Goma after a large volcano erupted, prompting thousands of people to escape the city. Congo's Mount Nyiragongo erupted for the first time in nearly 2 decades. It has turned the night sky a fiery red and sending lava onto a major highway. This has led to a spread of panic among the residents who are now trying to flee Goma, a city of nearly 2 million people. Power was already cut in large parts of the city when hundreds of residents began leaving their homes. Car horns honked and motorcycle taxis weaved as people attempted to escape in panic. The volcano, located 10 kilometers from Goma, last erupted in 2002, killing 250 people and making 120,000 people homeless. Mount Nyiragongo is one of the world's more active volcanoes, but there were concerns that its activity had not been properly observed by the Goma Volcano Observatory since the World Bank cut funding amid allegations of corruption.
Australia's most populous state, New South Wales, underwater. Homes ruined and lives destroyed.
They've had trees coming down, they've had property.
40 flood warnings are in place and tens of thousands of people have been ordered to leave their homes. And there's more rain on the way.
This potentially is a very dangerous situation.
It's a year since unprecedented bushfires burned across this region. They followed a prolonged drought that led to Sydney introducing water restrictions. Now record rainfall is causing chaos. The Premier of New South Wales says the state is experiencing a 1 in 100 year disaster.
Illicit trade is a big structural problem. Every day there is contraband of cigarettes. Every day there is shipments of counterfeit goods in small parcels. Every day there is customs seizing illicit alcohol or pesticides. This is an everyday problem.
Ports are main hubs for the global economy, but they have a big security issue. Criminals are just like water, you know, they flow where the money is. Whether they choose one port or another is just a matter of time.
Hidden behind those crates, 3,200 pounds of cocaine.
Human trafficking and even weapons.
Criminal gangs are hiding smuggled goods indoors, packaged tabletop.
The patients on all of these beds and in all of these rooms share a dangerous combination: unvaccinated and severely ill with COVID-19. They are part of a deluge straining a healthcare system grappling with this country's deadliest COVID wave. They're patients at Moscow's Khalifatullah Hospital. It was built in 1810 and today has the country's largest emergency department. As doctors and nurses arrived for their morning shift, we were invited along, which meant suiting up in several protective layers, including a gown, goggles, and 2 sets of gloves. Leading the team, the hospital's director, Dr. Sergei Petrikov, who says COVID has him on call 24 hours a day.
Now we have 100 patients on